presenter is Suzie Witman, a dear friend and one of the most creative human beings I've ever met. Suzie has been teaching in public and private schools for 9 years. Her work as a core faculty member at Explorations Academy extends beyond the classroom to include 3 continents, the wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, and perhaps the most intimidating landscape of all, the hearts and minds of adolescents.
I am confident that profound change in our educational system is necessary and inevitable. It needs to occur system-wide and at a very fundamental level. I'm lucky enough to work with an inspiring group of educators, and together we co-create innovative curriculum, but most of it I think can be implementable on the larger public school scale. America's educational system emerged to meet the needs of the industrial age, and it made perfect sense in a world where assembly line workers drove the economy and linear thinking was valued over creativity. Obviously, this model is no longer appropriate, and our attempts to modernize it have largely fallen short. We are living in a time when the pace of change around us is more rapid than ever. Access to media and information, emerging technologies, and a climate in crisis make it difficult to anticipate the physical and cultural landscape of even a few years from now. So it doesn't make sense to prepare students to fit into the world, because we cannot possibly foresee what that world is going to look like. Instead, we need to give students the tools to shape whatever world they find themselves in. The shift we need is really a distillation process, returning to the most essential elements needed for healthy individuals, communities, and cultures. It's about clarifying our values. We need to educate for humanness, asking what really matters in a person. How can we not just survive, but thrive, regardless of what's around the next corner? I ask my students this question, and as I would in my classes, I want to honor their input. I admit to a certain amount of delight here because they listed things we already do. So either we're doing something right or the brainwashing is working. But here are some of the qualities they listed as necessary for future education. Adults who care what students think. Teaching respect. Teachers able to be themselves. Talking about hard stuff like feelings. Learning alongside adults. Suffering together. This was about exercise. Meaningful content. Getting out and doing things, not reading about them. So that's what kids want. How can we deliver that? I like to say that if you want students to remember something, you better make it memorable. And that's what experiential learning is. David Kolb describes the cycle like this. Students actively experiment. They have a concrete experience, they reflect on it, and then they conceptualize or learn from it. And that reflection phase is critical and is one of the most powerful tools that we have. The restructuring we need requires several shifts in thinking, and one is to redefine the teacher. I see my role as a knowledgeable and experienced guide, not some information delivery system, but someone that students trust to inspire them, model healthy living, be their advocate, and hold them accountable. By challenging ourselves alongside students, teachers grow themselves, but they also model tenacity and humility. We need to let go of the desire to always be right and have the answers. Honoring student contributions gives them responsibility, ownership, and eventually autonomy. I tell my students, I will know my work with you is finished because I will have made myself obsolete. And this concept's scary. I was trained to maintain control of the classroom, be prepared, forecast student reactions, anticipate their questions, answer the questions. So that just this idea of challenging ourselves or approaching our edge in front of students can make us feel really vulnerable as teachers. But don't worry. It's exactly these experiences that earn adults the most respect. Kids naturally want this dynamic. These little shifts in our relationships with students tap into their natural desire to learn alongside a trusted mentor. They don't want to prepare for a future in which they are useful members of community. They want to demonstrate that they already are. So that's teaching. What about curriculum? Remember the list that my students made. We need to honor the core academics. They still matter. But we also have to educate for this humanness. And there are 3 lenses that we use to describe these more abstract outcomes. And the first one is the personal lens. In the personal realm, we have outcomes like self-awareness, pursuing passion and creativity, achieving a sense of purpose, being physically and emotionally healthy, and making sure that your personal ethics and behavior are in line. This is all modeled by teachers, offered up through experience, and then reflected upon by students. If we step back a little bit, we can look at the curriculum through a social lens. Regardless of your path in life, the ability to relate to other people is critical. Learning to creatively solve problems with peers and adults offers a shared investment in the outcome, but it also emphasizes the need for respect. And respecting diverse backgrounds and divergent views is key in any relationship, whether it's personal or professional. We ask our kids to consider the roles that they play in groups. We work to create a culture of appreciation, where students are able to recognize and openly honor other people's contributions. We teach nonviolent communication skills, focusing on understanding our shared human needs and resolving conflicts. If we move back a little bit more, we can view education through a global lens. One human need, one every person in this room shares, is that need to feel useful, to be a meaningful contributor, and to know that you matter. Through service work, international travel, and wilderness experience, students see how they fit into the greater systems that exist around them. When this interconnectedness is realized, we can empower kids to assess the needs of their community and figure out how to put their special talents to use. Ecological awareness is part of this and is best gained through experience. The more young people see themselves as essential pieces of that global system, the more they recognize their power as change agents and as stewards. But teachers can't do this alone. Each of you has a unique talent or some wisdom that is worth sharing with students. I see our entire city as a campus, and every one of you is a mentor. So I'm offering one slide to start building the network tonight. So when you hear this little bell, turn to the person next to you and identify one skill or passion that you could share with students in our community. Go. Go. Go, go, go. You have 20 seconds.
AutoCAD. Collecting beer bottle caps.
You just made a commitment right there. Our work is huge.
Miniature little.
And what I mentioned is only a little glimpse of the paradigm shift that's on the horizon. But I know we can do it because I get to see it work every day. And I want to leave you with a quote from my favorite supporter of our school, Aristotle, who said, "For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them."